Just hold here then?
Yeah, I think so.
Fine.
Do you want to look in detail at this little community?
No, we're good.
Or
No, we're
move
good.
along?
I think we should move.
Okay. Pilot Shirley thinks we should move, and she's the sponge person.
Roger. Moving on.
Holding out for a coral.
Okay. Boy, that'll be fun. That tiny little 4 polyp coral we saw at the end of the dive yesterday was so cool. Someone actually drew a picture of it on the board behind us. But unless it's found a rock, it's not really going to like being on the sedimented surface of the seafloor right here on the top of this ridge. Amazing.
What's this guy? You want to come in on this guy, Tara? It's another, I don't know what that is. Oh, is it a shrimp?
Yep.
Oh, pretty. A white shrimp.
That is an interesting swimming technique.
Beautiful.
Scott France suggests this is a mysid with a question mark. And Mike Ford is admiring the video, which indeed is fantastic. Look at those legs move. Little red eyes.
I know. Beautiful.
Oh, this is really cute. Oh, spectacular.
He's gone.
Very nice. Very nice. Tara and Josh.
Excellent, Tara.
Why doesn't it fall down?
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Let's do a far zoom on this guy. See if it's a sponge.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is. It is. It is. It is. I bet.
Yep.
Okay. You can
Looks like
see
there's
how
a
many
little
lights there are by the number of shadows around it when you get real close. There's at least 4 shadows of that sponge. This ROV has a whole bunch of lights, a whole bunch of cameras on the the booms up above the main camera, and so the pilots are able to move those around, move the lights around so that it maximizes the illumination of animals or whatever features on the seafloor we're going for. Oh, and here we go off the
How cool is that?
scarpin to look at these beautiful layers of alternating colors of fine sediment that could very well be serpentine mud flows.
I know.
The lighter sort of buff and blue-colored layer on the top looks more like, to me, like what would be serpentine flow, and then the thicker dark layer in which you can see many fine layers is probably pelagic sediment, possibly from slumps or turbidite flows, which are just a turbidity current of fine remobilized seafloor sediment that runs down the slope, and then below that is another bluish layer.
Oh, wow, look at that, Patty.
That is great.
Partial.
Boy, that is exactly what serpentine mudflows look like when you core them and bring them up. Open up the cores. The pale tan color is the oxidized portion. The blue color is the more reduced portion that has lots and lots of archaea microbes in them. The pH of these mud flows can be as high as 12.5, so highly alkalic. And sometimes the muds, when you first bring them up, are absolutely black because it's a reducing environment in which the archaea are just metabolizing like crazy.
Are the mud flows in Yellowstone, the mud, is that related to this, or is that something completely different?
The mud flows in Yellowstone, I was asked by the pilot, they are very, very different.
Oh, okay.
These are made of ground-up mantle rock. The mud flows in Yellowstone are made up of basically regurgitated fine-grained ash and things that were deposited in the caldera by previous eruptions. So this is not volcanic material. This is what we would call fault gouge, or just ground up rocks along a deep fault in mantle rock beneath the crust of the seafloor here. If that's what this is.
Quick zoom right there.
Beautiful, beautiful imagery.
Okay.
Syrio should be.
And we can see some
just about
small
stopped
rock
by now.
clasts that are included in the blue mud material. And
we're at
that's
our dive-in
exactly the
waypoint.
sort of
We have
thing
another
that we
10
see
minutes.
brought up from depth.
Okay.
From depths as much as 18 or 20 kilometers beneath some of the mud volcanoes, like the one that we'll be diving on tomorrow. So folks, if you're interested, come on back. And the dark material is pelagic sediment, so sediment that just has settled down through the water column. Some of this looks maybe a little
Something
pebbly
purple on
or,
the right side.
or
It might be
coarse
sponge
sand
or a rock.
to silt-sized, maybe
Center
some
up
clays.
right now? The guy like down low in the center.
Yeah.
Just below the lasers. Yeah.
Yeah, let me come down.
It's probably not alive.
And there's some rocks in here
Yeah, come
too,
in.
pebbles and little cobbles. So there is a little bio
What is it
sitting.
a pteropod?
It looks like,
Isn't it-
oh, it's a little gelatinous
No,
biological
is it
blob.
A pteropod? No, I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure, Shirley. Maybe we can get a good zoom. The pilot's just hovering in mid-water, folks, so it's kind of hard to
Come on in.
get a good look. There you go,
I
Shirley.
don't know. Mike,
Take a
what do you
quick
think
look.
it is? Yeah.
Anybody have a clue from on shore? Is that a bivalve?
No,
Any
I
tighter?
don't know.
Or is that it?
That's full.
I cannot tell.
On the
Must be
left
tiny.
side, it looks like, there's a dark
Yeah,
part with
yeah.
a white rim on the far left
I'm
that
not
looks
sure
like
if
the
we'll
white
be
part
able to
on the
tell what
right.
that is.
Yeah, pteropod. Scott said the same thing. It looks like a pteropod.
What's a pteropod?
Shell.
You don't
Speaking
wanna
of
stick your sticks
pelagic
in the side.
shells
What's that?
settling.
You don't want to stick your
Ooh,
skids in the
here we
side
go.
of this to get
So what is a
stationary.
pteropod?
Might knock it over.
Yeah.
It is a. Is it
I'm clear.
Oh, that's a smooth part right there.
a pelagic mollusk? I was going to put it. I was going
Okay.
to try and get it into a class, Scott.
Wow.
They're like gastropods,
Right.
but in the water column.
Ah.
So this would be like the snail shell
Right.
equivalent
Okay,
of living up
so
in
it's
the
a
water column.
snail.
When they die, the shells sink.
But it's just the shell that we saw that had, because we were
Okay.
just talking about sediments.
Yeah.
So, right on cue. Look at that layer.
Oh, the
there.
layering is gorgeous. Oh, look at all the blue down there. Oh, that's a very thick mud flow, if it's a mud flow. I'm just speculating, but it sure looks, the color is exactly like the serpentine mud flows that we've seen on the active serpentine mud volcanoes.
See if we
And then
see any
trying to estimate how thick that brown layer is, and there's a shrimp.
coral on top.
It's
What do we have? 5 minutes left.
the upper
Yeah,
layer
about
is
that.
variable in thickness, so
I
obviously
gave
the
us,
seafloor over
3 or
which
4
it
minutes after that to get in.
rested
That's good. Good.
was undulatory.
Yeah, I think you're over the edge, Don.
Yeah,
No return.
definitely. Yep. We got you out there.
Yeah, Don, if it passes
No,
that
won't be on
12.5 meter circle, that's when I'd get nervous.
Shucks.
Yeah, roger that. Well, we've stopped moving.
Look at all the
Yes,
rocks
yeah.
up here.
Yeah, see,
Sort of
hexagonal,
slabby,
it's
slabby
sponges.
boulders. We got some more sponges up
Yeah,
there on
sponges
that rock.
to the left, sponges to the right.
Oh. And you've only seen two different kinds this time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on in.
Is that a squat lobster up there on the seafloor? It is.
It
It
is.
is indeed.
Last little squat lobster.
Nice sponge.
Yeah, this
And
looks
really
like a
big rocks.
Yeah. Be another one of the Caulophacades or Caledoniellas.
Coming on this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a red. Oh,
Oh,
is this
wow.
a hermit crab with an anemone? It is.
Yep, there we go.
Wow.
Beautiful.
An
Isn't that
anemone
pretty?
on its backside. Well, that's fun. Oh, I like
Scott, we got you right. We got you into the phylum anyway.
Come on in.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, I said we got you into the phylum.
Oh, yeah, good job. Yeah.
Look at these guys.
I'm
Hi.
uncertain, but there's an interesting association between some of these deep sea hermit crabs and anemones, whereas the anemones will secrete a shell as the crab grows so that it has a shell to move into. But I'm not certain that this is that. This might be a decorator crab.
I like its feathery antennae. Waving them at us.
So, Scott and others, this looks like the Strobopagurus grassolepes, which is what we saw in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands last year. I'm looking at the picture again in the gallery and can't see if it's exactly the same, but it certainly looks like the same kind of thing.
All right, great, Chris. So that would mean it is a pagyrid, which means it is a hermit crab, which means it's another anamurin, and so very closely related to these squat lobsters. So the squat lobsters and the hermit crabs are more closely related to each other than either of them are to crabs or lobsters. So the story I was telling before would hold here. There is a group of anemones that secretes a chitinous shell, so the same sort of material that the crab carapace is made of. And they live together for their entire lives, and it means that the crab doesn't have to find, another snail shell in order to move into as it molts and gets bigger. Instead, that anemone will just keep secreting a shell for it. And the anemone benefits as the crab moves around and finds food and maybe is ripping up particles. Maybe the anemone is getting some of that, or it's just being moved to other places where there might be more food.
Alright, let's zoom out a little bit. Look at the lasers.
So one thing I'm noticing is that the anemone looks like it's different from the anemone that was on this crab in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. Just comparing the two, and almost looks a little bit more like a hormathiid.
There he
Whereas
goes.
the other ones didn't on the crab from the Northwest Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah, Chris, I agree. And, I couldn't actually see that there was any sort of shell under there. That anemone looked kind of flat. I don't know if that means it's a recent addition or what.
Okay, this dive is drawing to a close.
Right.
It's 15
All right,
minutes
pilots,
after
should
the
we
hour.
start
We are
thinking
going
about
to
getting
be
information?
If you want to stow
coming
the
off
arms
bottom.
on
We
and,
are at
track the
4,209
pins, stow the
meters.
drawer.
Got it.
Initially,
I want
we'll
to
be moving
thank
at
everyone who
this-
has joined us
at the
on
ship's
our
current
dive
heading.
today on this
As we start to get
northern
closer to the
forearc,
surface, we'll have to
possibly
turn into
mud
the wind,
volcano
but
and
looks to be
scarp.
good for
Right.
And
We got a long way up.
We
I want to
sure
especially thank the scientists, the shore-based science team,
Tracking the
who have
pins.
been participating and helping us to explain
Closing the
well, to each
drawer.
other and to our
There we go,
viewers
and let's see.
on
The
shore
upper swing
what
arms
we've been
are
seeing
already
here,
in,
both
right?
geologically
and, the lower
and
swing arm,
biologically.
starboard, I'm going
My
to
name
go
is Shirley
right.
Pomponi. I am the biology science
Do
lead
a quick zoom
on the
video
ship,
while we wait.
and from Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute, Florida Atlantic University.
Brittle star.
Yeah, we're going to catch
Brittle
one
star.
more brittle star before we leave bottom. And my partner in crime is
Patty Fryer,
And
and
still.
I'm a marine geology professor at the University of Hawaii Manoa, Hawaii Institute of Geophysics and Planetology on Oahu in the state of Hawaii.
And on behalf of all of us here on board the ship, the NOAA ship's crew, our Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration ROV crew and videographers,
Yeah,
Patty and me,
Okay.
and
The arm
the
looks like it's in
OER
a
and
pretty good
fisheries
spot.
staff, we want to
Okay.
thank
Would
you
you
all
agree?
for
Yeah.
joining us.
Yeah,
We'll
it
see
might
you
be
tomorrow.
sticking out maybe 1 inch further than it could be, but it looks pretty good.
What do you
Okay.
think, Dan?
Okay. We good on that?
Okay, we'll
Maybe on the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
I'm about lined up with the
Okay.
Yes, we'd like to.
ship.
As soon as we're off
So
of
I
the...
need to come to starboard to unwind.
Yep, if you come to starboard, then that removes the half turn
That
in
you've
my
got.
tether
Okay.
and half turn in yours. So
Okay.
All right, pilot. I'm being told maybe we should just hold stationary for the first 2,000 meters, maybe.
it's fine. Yeah,
Well, for a while anyway.
so you can keep turning. We're talking about ascent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Start pushing out.
Okay. Okay, there we are.
Nice shot in D2's tether cam there.
Alright, so once we get stretched out, we should remove auto heading, because the currents down here are going to be completely different than what's on deck.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and remove auto heading.